Here we go, we're jumping into game number 2 between Fueled or MaZe and Weiman. And in the top left position it is once again our blue Terran. I feel like we've seen him before in this position. Weiman playing Terran. I already said that.
And in the bottom right we have the teal Zerg playing for Team Maegis, known also as Fueled, but we've mostly been referring to him as MaZe.
MaZe. Alright, no hunky-dory, no funky stuff so far. Oh, although I don't see a lot of... Oh, there we go. Drones in production.
Well, you don't see a lot of drones in production at 1 minute into the game because, well, you don't have live fire minerals for many.
You know, I always get this knee-jerk reaction whenever I see a Zerg not droning a lot, so I feel like shit, something's going on.
When you play Zerg, you wait in the beginning of the game always to have 150 minerals and then make 3 drones in one go?
Exactly, that's how it should be done.
Yeah. So as not to scare off the observers too much.
Observers freaking out. You're like, nah, I'm just waiting just a little bit. Right,
you like your drones synchronized.
Yeah, exactly. That way I don't have to look at my base all the time. Okay, so I'm gonna look at the player view for Jeroen right now. Let's see the player view. He's angrily selecting his different buildings and units right now, trying to get his APM up. I could look at the APM tab as well. There we go. Jeroen is currently at 260 APM, so he's vividly clicking all of his units. Going back to the all-player view now, so as to prevent dizziness for our viewers. And Jeroen is probably building... There we go. Oh, a command center first. He's not going barracks first.
Nope. It's well, he's making it at the ramp, so he can wall off and will be relatively safe. Of course, if there would be a really aggressive attack from MaZe, would be an issue, but in a general sense, doing the command center up on the high ground is pretty safe. And we see that MaZe is going for a Nexus, too much protest recently, going for a hatchery first. So there's nothing too threatening going on from either side.
Nope, and no scouting at all so far from Jeroen. Maybe he figures, well, it's a 4-player map. Might be a while before I scout him anyway, and I've decided on going command center. This is a, well, I wouldn't say an unsafe build, definitely not. So
also because this is a 4-player map, you can the chances that your opponent is going to do something crazy like a 6-pool or 8-pool or something like that are very much reduced, because your opponent will have to scout very early. That means that he has to use one of his very few drones, and they'll delay the push considerably, or he has to just guess where you are, which is never a good idea.
Nope.
So the fact that this is a large 4-player map already instills you with some confidence that you can go for something like a command center first, and then putting it on high ground is just extra safety.
Yeah, and he does compensate by throwing down a bunker pretty quickly. So yeah, and MaZe happily expanding. First Zerglings are now out as well. He's sending them out on the map, most likely to scout, maybe grab those watchtowers afterwards. Jeroen also scouting at this time. He has seen an Overlord fly. I think from that he has deduced where his opponent is, but okay. SFE clearing the way through those by those Zerglings.
Yep.
Close call.
And the SFE is just going to see everything that there is to see.
Has seen Zerglings, has seen an expansion, has seen 2 queens. This is as expected.
Sees that there is no gas other than the single one, and that's not actually mining, so it just picked up the gas that was needed for Zergling speed, and now back to mineral income for extra droning.
So Jeroen knows exactly what's up. We cannot say the same for MaZe yet. He hasn't scouted his opponent at all so far.
He's losing an Overlord right now, somewhere below the south of the main of Weiman, so that's of course annoying. He was already close to hitting a supply block, and then he lost the Overlord, so that will reduce his production rate a little bit.
That's tough. Another Overlord, of course, also in position, and he is going to be sending it in. Or not, no, he's scouted, of course, that there's mining going on. He knows that there's a natural expansion. So I think he can figure out the rest. He knows, of course, also that there's Marines, because those Marines have just killed one of his Overlords.
Yes, and there's a 3rd base coming up for MaZe. Both players playing pretty standard. We see 2 Hellions coming out. For Weiman, he's putting a tech lab on his starport, he is going to make a Banshee with Cloak, so that could be interesting.
Yep, let's see if it goes unscouted or whether MaZe prepares for it or not. MaZe is preparing to scout later on by positioning his Overlord all the way at the top of the map in hopes of it not getting scouted. These two scouting Zerglings, by the way, do get toasted.
There's a large group of Speedlings a little bit further on, and he's actually spreading them out so he can maybe sandwich the Hellions if they overextend, but the Hellions already snuck past to the watchtower.
Oh, but these Zerglings are so fast, wow.
They're racing towards the base.
He's lining them up. Oh boy.
Yeah, but the Zerglings are too fast, and he's going to hide behind the Queens. So he wants to keep his. He doesn't want to do any trickeries on in the middle of the map. MaZe that is with the Zerglings. He's just pulling them back to safety to his creep, where the Queens can help defend, and he's perfectly safe from just 4 Hellions. But more Hellions have popped out. There's 4 more in the base. First Banshee is ready. No second Banshee in production, and the Cloak is almost ready. So should be flying the Banshee over soon. There comes Banshee number 2.
Banshee. I gotta say, this third base is pretty secure to take, for Zergs and Terrans alike.
Yep, they're not really. Of course, there's the rocks near the natural that are an entry point, but there's only a relatively narrow area where you can get to to these rocks. And if you have your third, you're already on that ramp overlooking that area. Okay. So
Spore Crawlers on the way for MaZe. So that's you feel something's up. Ooh, lots of.
Aliens are going to limit the creep spread a little bit, get a few of the fresh tumors. Do get pushed back by the Queens. He's trying to loop around. He may get stuck. No.
Okay, so but the Banshee is now working away on the Queens and will get one. Yes. Okay.
But he does reveal the fact that he has Cloak now, so MaZe can react appropriately. More Spore Crawlers being produced. 2 more. He's going to get a few drone kills. In the meantime, the Hellions clear out a little bit more creep with the help of a scan. We see 2 armories coming up for Weiman, so he's really going to.
Oh, these Hellions! Oh, they're toasting the Zerglings.
Those are very effective Hellions. There are some roaches there, so he cannot do too much, but he did get quite a few Zerglings. Spore Crawler got taken out by 2 Banshees. They both have energy to Cloak. One is now retreating because he was out of energy and almost out of life, but the other one is still happily chewing away at the drones of the third. So the drones are being pulled back to the natural and the main, and fortunately those 2 places are not that oversaturated yet, so he can still afford to keep some drones there instead of at the third.
Okay, Overseer now here, so Banshee's retreating, Roach is poking out, see if they can deal with these Hellions that are continuing. That's doing a very good job of keeping that creep spread minimized. Creep, of course, very important for Zerg players, and gives you vision and speed for your units. And if these Hellions keep killing those tumors, then they're like modern advanced medicine. Taking care of cancer.
We see some Hellbats coming out for Weiman, also 2 Thors being produced. He already has 4 tanks, so he's going to make a very sturdy mech army. He's repairing up the Banshees that are coming home. He has 3 now. They're sitting gathering energy, being repaired by the SCVs. So he's getting also 1/1 upgrades for his mech. He's not really expanding to a third yet. He does have a third orbital, but he's not flying it out just yet. I think he should be able to claim that third. There's mostly roaches for his opponent, but he has 4 tanks and a bunch of Thors. He should be able to hold that third if he decides to take it at a stage.
And look at the units lost tab. You can see how efficient Weiman has been with his units. He's only lost 4 so far, as opposed to 40 for MaZe. Of course, Zerg units have the tendency to die more quickly than Terran units, but he goes to show how Jeroen is very careful with his units, repairing up those Banshees, Oh, he hasn't repaired the Hellions so far, but oh, there he goes. As I say that, he repairs the Hellions. Yes, he's very good about keeping his units alive. And oh, he's definitely preparing to take this third now, even going for a sensor tower in his third. Yeah, he's going for mech, like building it up slowly, building an army that is, a maxed out Terran mech army is very, very dangerous to deal with. But of course you have to be careful, because if you lose it, you cannot replenish it very quickly. So you're just going to take it slowly.
On the other hand, of course, we are looking at not at high Grandmaster games, and the one advantage of a mech army is that it's quite sturdy. If you have a bio army and you move on creep wrongly, then you suddenly have banelings all around and it's all gone. While a mech army, in many cases, you have to do a little bit more effort to really lose it in one fell swoop. So it is a little bit less micro-intensive in that sense. You can.
Okay, there's some cool stuff going on. Banshee's moving towards MaZe's base, but MaZe is sending out lots of Overlords with units in them. But the Overlords get intercepted by a lone Viking here that was probably put there for exactly that purpose. Some
There's
units
also
are
two
going to make it.
Overlords coming from the right-hand side. They're not on the follow-up path just yet.
Oh, there we go. Some units managed to get unloaded in the main base, and turret will get taken out. This could do some damage because, you know, this mech army is pretty clunky, but, you know, it's... Oh, he could get the armory. That's pretty big.
Yep,
Canceling an upgrade.
Yeah, he's easily going to get it. The upgrade had only just started, so it's not that much of a loss, but he's losing the second army as well. Weiman already immediately rebuilt 2 armies elsewhere. He knew that he was going to lose them, so it's a good reaction.
Alright, dropping the natural mineral line as well. Some drones, SCVs get killed, lost mining time as well. Roach is still alive in the main base. Are they going to get a Thor? They will. Nice.
That's fair enough. Now the benches are here and they will easily clean this up. Could pull back the Thor and prevent some additional damage being done, but it will survive quite easily.
Okay. Will the missile turret burn? Blah! Yes, it will burn down in the natural. Okay, that has been a bit of an upset.
In the main, it does not burn down. Yeah, there was a missile turret also almost burning down in the main. But
God save, do you know if the Banshees from Johan did any damage in MaZe's bases while we were looking at
I'm not sure. I'm looking at them now. They have combined 19 kills, but they already got some earlier. So I was looking at also at Overlords, so I don't know if the Banshees did much. But judging by the amount of kills, I think they should have gotten something. But I don't know if there was just Zerglings or actually the drones or queens.
Pretty cool. We see Vipers here now on the field for MaZe and charging up on these extractors here. Jeroen is feeling confident enough to move out. He is, well, he's not exactly near max. He's at 160 supply, but maybe he feels he needs to do some damage after taking some losses during those fights. Oh, look at this. Oh, blinding cloud going down all the tanks. They can't see anything. He might lose his entire mech army here.
Oh, this is just
terrible.
Just
for
devastating. Yeah, you see the tanks and immediately the blinding clouds hit, and then your tanks are just useless. That's the one major weakness of mech in this matchup. That a handful of Vipers can just completely reduce the effectiveness of your slow, or in case of tanks, even stationary army. And now the Roaches are just pushing forwards, and I don't know if there's really anything that can stop them. Seeker missile goes down, but does just as much damage to the tanks. And I think this is it.
This is it, man. Jeroen, this was a gross like overstretch of his army, and like I said, with mech it's very powerful if you got 200, but you have to be careful with it because you can't replenish, and that's exactly what we're seeing now. Jeroen is building 2 Hellbats and 1 Banshee. That's not going to stop the advance of units that is streaming across the map from MaZe right now. And I think, like you said, this is going to be a losing. Oh, look at this! Even an abduct from one of those Vipers, throwing one of the tanks in. Yank another tank.
Yeah, there we go. And there's just 2 Hellbats, and it's GG. And MaZe or Fueled wins the series 2-0, and he will advance to the semi-finals of the DSCL Bootcamp. So it's only 2 series away from taking that much desired spot of being coached by Jonah and Grubby.